All right, you've got your task. You've given me the route.
Yep.
So your guide is
Hathus.
So add 1 to your embarkation check. Your peril rating is 2.
Am I supposed to understand this, John?
Yeah.
Add 1.
Okay. Let me share the. Can I share this now?
So I've put something in the notes, folks, that you can see for our journey tasks as to what roles we're doing. So if you click on the notes on the right-hand side. No, it's in on Fantasy Ground. So if you have got the notes icon on your right-hand side, I've just made a public thing there.
Journey tasks.
And you should be able to open that up and see what your tasks are.
Perfect.
So you can write your own notes and you can make them public for everybody, or you can just have them for your own information.
That's good.
Okay, so you make an embarkation roll, which is your guide's proficiency bonus. So for you, that is your survival bonus, Chris. Yep. You also add half your wisdom bonus to that.
Okay, so that is...
And you take away the peril rating, which is 2.
2?
Yep. It's some peril. That reminds me of Monty Python. Sorry, I shouldn't keep mentioning peril. Oh, there's some peril.
Okay. Do you want me to do that roll, John?
So give me a D. So you can actually set up the full modifiers. You can add 1 as well.
No, because half my wisdom bonus comes to +2. The peril rating is -2, so it is just my survival roll. Yeah.
Yep. Add 1 as well because of your conversations you've had.
Modifier. So
the interactions you've had.
So it's this +1. Do you do it in the open or in the tower?
Do it in the tower.
Oh, okay. I've put a +1 on. Tell me if it comes through. Yeah.
Yep. And do that with a D12, not a D20.
A D12?
Yep.
Okay, so it's this +7, yeah?
Yep.
I've never rolled a D12 before in here.
Okay.
You're all dead. Sorry, lads.
That's right.
Pretty well.
New characters.
So, yeah. Well, that was a short session.
Barrel roll.
Mysteriously, Hathor says, "Follow me," and we head south.
Yeah.
I could be
Jump in the river. Go over the falls of Raros.
Mordor. Well, that was where we were going, wasn't
it? Okay, so you're feeling pretty good. You make some good preparations. Help us pick up a few days rations you trade for some of the other stuff you've got. You're ready to go. You're so optimistic that you feel kind of okay. I think we can head out fairly soon. And the next morning, you're up bright and early. And let me see what the weather's like.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, so actually it's similar temperatures next morning, no rain in the air. And you set off. You're actually pretty optimistic. You're making some good time. And what you find is that it's so good to be traveling. You can hear spring birds. Actually, the smell of not wood smoke in your lungs every hour of the day and Hathus's infernal pipe he seems to smoke all the time is really nice for you. Amalfrida can feel like she's out there in nature again, which she's missed. And actually, to be honest, spending a little bit of time more than a few yards away from a bunch of smelly old middle-aged men has been quite nice for her as well. You've got a spring in your step. You're feeling really good about that. And so, you're making really good time. Your journey is pretty uneventful. You for the first couple of days, you're traveling west through the woods. It's fairly sparse, easygoing. You meet woodmen coming to and fro. You travel north up the Anduin fairly well. Chris, give me roll another D12 and add 1. Do it in the tower, sorry. A day or two after you after you've been traveling up the Anduin, quite late in the afternoon, you're scouting your lookout, pretty much focused on finding a decent camping spot. You see looks like it could have been like a bit of an ancient battle or something. And as you're setting up camp, out of the corner of your eyes, you can almost see hillocks around you, maybe even ghostly movement at the periphery of your vision. As soon as you look at it, it disappears. But it goes fairly uneventfully. As the full darkness comes down, either good or bad, but those things you were glancing in your peripheral vision disappear a little bit. And our lookout, could you make an investigation check, please, in the tower? That's Monin, sorry.
Yeah.
As you were finally setting up camp, there is a strange sunburst that comes through the dark clouds just on the horizon as the sun's setting. And it seems to raise your hopes a little bit. It shines into your clearing that you've set up. What you saw as shadows or maybe shadowy creatures, as you get a good look around the clearing, seem to be not in evidence at all. And you seem to be much more reassured. Can't work out what it was, but you seem to be much better placed now.
Can I glance around? Is everyone else experiencing this kind of roller coaster as well? I mean, I know they are, but I'll look around just to make sure my fellows are also undergoing this kind of roller coaster. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was, whether it was like feeding off each other's fears, but very nervous for a short space of time there. And that area of darkness was it seemed very real. It seemed supernaturally dark around the area. The sky darkened way faster than you thought it should do. Some of the lumps on the ground had a look of shallow graves almost. Now the light shone through. And Monin stood up and seemed very confident with a lot of bluster as the sun was shining through, and those fears seemed to be ill-founded.
Do we know if there were any battles actually fought on this area as either the orcs advanced or the goblins advanced or anything else, John?
Give me a knowledge lore check in the tower. No idea. What you do know is battles were fought up and down the Anduin for eon. Yeah. So it could well have, your fears could well have been very real.
Okay. Amalfrida will look at the amulet that she's got that magically appeared next to her bed before they set out. Glad I've got this bloody thing. Okay.
Pack up, carry on traveling. There's some very notable things you see when you're traveling through there. The things that really stuck out in your mind was passing through a wide field strewn with grey boulders and lots of deer running through it in the distance. And you ate very well that night. Amalfrida brought a deer down, and that really lifted the spirits. You hiked past one day a great copse and stand of huge emerald green ash trees, new spring growth coming out of them. And it's really, what was really interesting, it was almost like human feelings from the trees. One of them had fallen many, many years before and obviously covered in moss. The others were almost inclined towards their fallen comrade. Probably the wind that did it, but it's a very dark image in your mind. Some of the streams that you across, you had to use many old fords, and one of the fords you noticed had very clear, very, very well-made square block still visible in the bottom of the ford. Probably hundreds of years old, with probably dwarven make that you went through. The path changes throughout the day, every day, and it's almost around every corner or through every copse of woods. There's something very different. And this particular day in the morning, it was little more than a track used by goats and deer, but by lunchtime, it was again great dressed slabs of grey stone, risen and broken now, but clearly carefully placed. And very not a goat herder's track. So yeah, just very fascinating scenery that you're passing through every day. It's all very varied, but overall your spirits are very positive, very high there. Chris, give me another D12 roll modified by 1
in the tower.
Yeah.
Dumb.
So now you spent an evening with Amalfrida's father in Crofter's Vale, or some of the farmstead folk around there. And you are a couple of days north of there, roughly probably where the East Middle Vales is. You've made really good time. And as you're probably no more than 2 days from the edge of the Elf Path, coming from the northeast, but quite a long way away from you, maybe 2-3 miles, much closer to the borders of Mirkwood than you are, you see there must be a company of elves. Now, for the humans around, apart from maybe Sigmar, elves are fairly mythical. So too far away for you to catch up with them. Then they almost, it's a misty start to the morning when you see them. It's almost as the ragged mist parts and then comes back again. You have this sort of epiphany of, wow, they are elves, the humans amongst you. So you are all uplifted by this. Something very hopeful, probably glimpse into the past looking at the elves.
Monin's hopeful that a tree falls on them and kills them.
Everyone make a wisdom check in the tower.
Just a straight wisdom check, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's not wisdom save, just an ability check, yeah?
Straight ability check with wisdom in the tower, yeah. Okay, so as you're... Yeah, I mean, you talk about it for the rest of the day, and Sigmar is the most upbeat he's been about the elves. You don't see many of those, and that's good if they're abroad. The rest of you are fairly downbeat about it, and well, they're heading west. And they're leaving the woods, so that's not a good sign. And yeah, you feel as if you've been a bit despondent by the end of the day at that one. Okay, so you carry on traveling after another few days as you're walking along. You're getting very close to probably where the elf path is now, and it's decision time. You come across this. It's almost on top of you when you see it. So as you're walking along a culvert, obviously a stream passes through here in very wet season, you spot this massive fallen sculpture, ahead of which is a bit cracked. No idea how old it is. And you're talking about that amongst yourselves. Wow. So, Monin, you realize that is almost certainly old human work, but very, very good quality.
Okay.
Yes, I mean predates even some of the recent, but by recent, relatively recent building in Erebor, the Blue Mountains that you're aware of. So it's very old.
Do we recognize the image of the king?
No, you don't. It's more stylized than anything else. Okay. And it seems to be part of some ancient settlement of some form. You know the king is mannish, but there's roots and moss lying thick across most of it.
I'll probably go over and start scraping it off if it comes off easily with my dagger, just to see if I can get a better look at the features.
Okay.
Now, definitely interesting now in terms of, wow. This is
okay, give me a perception check if you're scraping off and looking around it.
Oh, perception.
Okay. Yeah, you scrape it off. No real insight into what who that king was. But it's mannish and very, very old. But it seems to be basically there's some like knee-high stone walls occasionally. Looks like the whole place is crumbled and fallen into disrepair. Definitely no buildings or anything around. Suddenly, the air is split with a series of shrill shrieks. A rasping horn sounds tunelessly nearby, and a shout of "Hang on!" It's Hazad I menu echoes through the trees, and you realise. So, Monin, you recognise that immediately as it's in Dwarfish, in Kuzdal. Anyone who speaks Kuzdal will recognise that. But it's coming from just a little bit further up the path.
And we heard a horn as well.
All you've heard is some... You recognise Dwarvish because you've heard Monin swear enough in it in the last few days and weeks, but you've no idea what it says.
Right, they're asking for defense, and they're calling them to themselves. They're in danger. You can stay here or not, but I'm going after them. And he starts bounding off towards it, pulling out his own horn.
Amalfrida will run after him, loosening her axe.
Okay, 1 second.
I don't think it'll take her long to catch up with him.
Okay, I won't put them on, but in the middle of... So let me just share this with you. Put you guys on there. So you come running towards... I'll just put you... You can distribute yourselves. So you come running into this clearing, and at the bottom of the clearing, just south of the tree, you can see they can only be orcs. There are 4 of them, and they're menacingly moving forwards towards a group of. Let me put some pictures on for this. So there are 3 dwarves who are carrying back around a big fallen, broken tree in the middle of the clearing, and they're backing towards you. They've got some very crude weapons, but really nothing much to write home about in their hands, and they're carrying from you. Everyone, give me an initiative roll. Nicely done.
That'll do.
Okay, not as nicely done as Amalfrida though. So,
hello, Silk.
Yeah, exactly. We've got someone in the Rollmaster campaign typically triples most people's initiative rolls. Amalfrida, you get the jump on and get to act first. So you come hunting into this clearing, and suddenly you've aware of orcs. You've seen your father and some of the Bjornings, your settlement, have to fight them when they were trying to get close to your farmsteads, but your knowledge of them is limited to viewings of them and basically helping clear up the aftermath, pulling teeth out. So what do you want to do?
So this is the first time I've heard of goblins and orcs, but this is the first time I've really seen them, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a quick description and just show you what these beasts look like.
I think Amalfrida will probably step forward, and then I think she'd probably looks like my mother-in-law. I think we'd probably go forward. I think she'd freeze, to be honest. This is her first time fighting. I think she'd just freeze. So I'm gonna. She readies her axe and shield, and then looks around to see what Monin is doing. I think she'll freeze.
So if you're attacked, you're basically readying an action to defend yourself, but nothing much else.
No, so she'll ready her axe and shield so that if she's engaged, she can defend. But I think, to be honest, she'll hold her action and see what Monin does.
Okay.
What I'll do is if Monin, she will basically follow Monin's lead. So that won't really interfere with combat tracker at all. So if Monin wants to go first, she'll then follow.
No problem. So, Steve, targeting is the same as Rollmaster, so control-click to target. At the moment, you're targeting yourself. So if you control-click, that will remove that target. I'm not sure what you're planning to do, but you can...
So he's going to blow the horn that he's got out as he's running in and run forward towards the dwarves, just blowing his horn and shouting, Kazad, the dwarves are upon you, and then you fucking goblin scum.
No. So I've locked tokens so you can easily measure movement. So just drag your token to where you want to move. You've got a standard 25-foot move. If you want to do an extra long move, you can do. That's fine. So you come up just behind...
Chokes on the horn. Right, Amalfrida then will take her action and she will move to there.
Okay.
And that'll be her that'll be her delayed action.
No problem. So you move up beside the other dwarves, and their heads whip round as they hear you, and then look extremely relieved at the sight of Monin. And even more relieved when someone else joins their ranks.
Just more relieved when he stops blowing that bloody horn.
Yeah, exactly. You hear basically the sound of what sounded like a strangled troll being blown from Monin's lips on his way over.
That bloody hurts my ears.
with red cheeks, you're like, I don't like it like this. When I play it like this, I don't like it.
Okay, and that's where you moved up. So you're kind of ready to engage, but not a lot else.
No.
Any other action, Monin?
Just sling the horn and get ready with the weapons.
Okay, so my assumption there, you've got a bit like Boromir head. Your horn will be on a leather thong, so you can easily just drop it and it goes down to your chest again. Exactly to make that easy. So in terms of the 5e rule set, you can draw a weapon as a free action if you didn't have one drawn, or sheath it as a free action. If you want to do like draw a weapon and a shield, that would take an action to do. So the clue's in the and. If you say taking out a healing herb and eating it, that requires an action. If you're just taking out the healing herb, that's a free action. So
hopefully be running in with the shield in one hand, blowing on the horn in the other, and then as soon as it got close, just drop the horn and draw the warhammer. So still have the shield already.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll say you can do that. So you just get the warhammer out and you're ready in the ranks there. And just hit the next actor button, which is the little down arrow at the bottom of the combat tracker. It may be something different. That's it, and that just goes round. Immediately you run up like that. The tiny little goblin. I'll just describe what they look like because you all know that there are very, very many different types of orc around. These are small. They're probably not much more than 4.5 feet tall. Bandy-legged. They look like the classic British infantrymen from the pre-Victorian era. Rickets, bow back. They don't look like the strong physical specimens, but they look mean and they look ready for business. So the first one comes running in and actually runs straight up to Amalfrida, considering that she looks the least threatening of everyone there, and targets Amalfrida with a nasty-looking sort of hooked sword. She lashes out to attack you with it.
Now, John, I've got protection, so I think that's supposed to do with the shield.
Yeah, you need to be... Sorry, I should have flagged that. So protection you can use as a reaction, which is exactly right as you're describing, but you need to be within 5 feet of someone.
Yeah.
So at the moment you are about 10 feet or so away. Each square is 5 feet, so you'd need to be basically in a square next to Amalfrida to protect her.
Okay, well, if she was running by too far, I would have tried to grab her and say, no, stay beside the shield.
All right. What I'll say, these guys, you're getting used to the rule set. These guys backed off as you came running up, and I'll just say you run up to there.
Okay. I mean, Amalfrida would have done what Monin said.
Okay.
Not experienced. Okay.
No worries. A bit of a retcon there, but that's fine. And what Monin? So what I'd like you to do is. Actually, I don't need to do anything. That basically applies disadvantage on an attack. So you basically this sword flashes out, and it was heading straight for Amalfrida's collar area. Whip fast. You interpose with his shield, and
you can just roll the attack again, can't you? Bugger me!
You are joking.
Wow.
Holy crap!
You are doomed to die, love.
Okay, this is an interesting start to the campaign. On this rate, you'll be dead by the end of the encounter.
Dead by nightfall. Oh, God.
You manage to get your shield up, but it deflects it unfortunately into your scalp. It saves your life, but this sword flashes for your neck. It gets deflected by Monin's shield, but that hurt. You're in a lot of pain. Blood trickles immediately and sort of gushes into your eyes. It's a scalp wound. Your head's ringing a little bit. That was nasty.
Oh, this isn't good.
Immediately after that, this goblin just takes a step forwards and he lashes out with a spear. Gets thrown from the bushes here. Ooh. That one sticks in your thigh, Monin, as it comes in from distance.
Why does that say attack 19 at Monin miss?
That was my vague assumption that you'd have a typical armor class. I've just remembered your Monin.
He's covered head to foot in metal.
Thank you for pointing that out. It hits your thigh, ricochets off into the air, and you can see the goblin recoils back a bit from that. Next goblin also takes a step up. Didn't learn from his colleague. Lashes out with another spear at you. This one misses wildly, just sticks in the tree trunk behind. And then the final one, he also steps up, and this one gets thrown at Amalfrida.
I think you had me target.
but fortunately it misses her. Sticks in the ground at your feet. So Amalfrida is got a bad head injury from the last one. Next up is Brother Hathus or Hathus.
Hathus will shout "stay" to his dog, and he will run up to Amalfrida, just by her, take one look, and he's going to have to use Hands of Heal on her because he's worried that she has taken a nasty hit.
Okay.
Oh. So he'll do a bit, and he'll say, "You're right. Stay in there."
So yeah, we need to come up with how that looks like in combat. It
says I touch her, I expend a healing dice, instantly granting them hit points equal to D8 plus my wisdom modifier. So it's not.
I mean in the game sense, not the rule set sense. So
yeah.
There is no
touch rather than a.
That's basically like a compress, or even something like, I don't know. She's got the vapors, and you put something under her nose and snaps her back into reality again.
Because that kind of happens in 20 seconds or so, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
I'll get the magic sponge out and mop her fevered brow. Put a little bit of tape on it and say, "You're fine." A bit of Vaseline on the lips and eyelashes.
That's it.
You're fine.
Man
Go
spray.
on.
All you need is man spray.
Exactly. Bit of a shoulder massage. Go on, champ. You're all right.
Okay, cool. And you find out that sorry. One thing I mentioned for
hang on. It's gone. Sorry. No, it's okay.
They encourage you to use features of the environment, basically. You kind of do that in D&D, and we do that in Rollmaster as well. But so that you can get modifiers from, for example, an attacking from hidden and those kind of things. So just flag that with you guys. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, you're defending the dwarves who are ahead of you. So anything else from Brother Hathus?
I think he's still got 5 foot move left. So he'll take a 5 foot step behind, diagonally northeast.
Yeah.
And if he can free action, he'll shout to the dwarves, "Are you guys okay? Are any more of you?" Actually, no, they're foreigners, aren't they? "Are there any more of you?" And then next action. My dog is just staying because he doesn't know what to do. He's probably barking his little nut off, but...
Yeah, dogs actually... just give me a wisdom check for the dog.
Oh, God. Dog turns tail and heads off.
Literally shits himself, so yeah.
His wisdom is 12, so he's got a +1, so it's D20 +1, yeah?
Yeah.
+1, D20. In the tower?
That doesn't matter. Dog disappears.
He's spotted a rabbit.
You hear whimpers from
What's that, lassie? Johnny's down the well.
I'm trying to hit turn complete, but he won't let me, I guess, because he...
Okay. Go on. So, Sigmar, you're up.
I'll look behind me to make sure we're not being ambushed from both sides at the same time. And then, assuming there's nobody there, put an arrow in the goblin directly south of me. Or endeavour to do so.
So at the moment, that tree bit of roots there is probably about 8 feet tall. You saw it come out of the trees, but you'd need to move to get a clear shot on it. There's a big...
In that case, I will shoot at one that I could got a good line on then.
Okay. So the easiest way to do it is by getting up behind the tree and firing over it, like in that area or the square next to it. You get a clear shot there. You can hit Goblin 4 relatively easily with a clear shot. The rest are obscure.
Which one's Goblin 4?
Bottom left.
Yeah, you can do a mouse over to find out which.
Okay. Yeah, I'll shoot at him then.
Okay, so control target him.
Yeah, I don't do that because of my special ability thingamajig.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter anyway.
So just to target it, that's the...
Yeah, but it tells me in my special ability, it says don't target the opponent.
That's right.
So you've got automated damage being applied twice.
Let me just check, because I wrote that. There was method in that somewhere.
No, it's his ability. Basically, he rolls damage twice and picks the best one. But if I target somebody, he'll take the damage from both sides.
Away. Gotcha.
Yeah, you can roll to hit and then on target. I think that's the easiest way. But anyway, we just see if that.
Why would I bother? Why not just don't target in the first place?
That missed anyway. Okay. So it just makes it easier, so I didn't remember his hit. But okay. Arrow just glances off you're trying to get a low shot, but glanced off the tree and back. And Amalfrida, he gives you some smelling salts, the magic sponge, and you're feeling a little bit better than you were 10 seconds ago.
So she looks quite pale, shaken, and then swears as she lashes out with her axe. I'm hoping that's not working.
Doomed to die.
She's supposed to attack with advantage, I think.
So you targeted yourself, not the.
Aha! I know why. Okay, let me try that again. Right.
Much better.
Still not working. Never mind.
Yeah. So let me.
Nope.
So that you're using Battle Fury, yeah?
Yeah. So she's supposed to get plus. Oh, it's not a strength check. That's why. But she's supposed to get +2 to the damage on that, and she didn't get it. So there's another 2 on that, I think. Let me just have a look.
Yeah.
Slashing DA +4
No,
-6.
that's fine. No, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that coding's accurate. So
Yeah.
you can use that twice between rests. I've just checked one of those uses off.
Yeah.
But yeah, you did well.
There you go.
Okay, I'm going to take a step forward and try and hit goblin number 1.
John?
Yep.
Bearing in mind Amalfrida seemed to hit that goblin pretty well and yet not damage him too much, do we notice or spot that they seem to be a bit resistant to her damage?
No, and quite to the contrary, that nearly took its leg off.
It just says D8 +4 -6, resistance, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So do we notice the fact that...
No, that was the attack on me. Because I'm in a fury, and unfortunately I targeted myself first.
Gotcha, you gain that resistance.
Yeah, I've got that resistance.
Yeah, you'd accidentally targeted yourself as well as the goblin.
Okay.
Checking, why'd you get advantage, Steve?
I've no idea. I just rolled the...
Because he's attacking something within 5 feet of me. I think that's a 5e rule, isn't it?
Could be. No, I think it's because it's heavy. Okay, anyway, that definitely hit.
That looks like 2 separate attacks, not one with advantage. Monin attack, hit, Monin attack, hit.
Sorry, you rolled twice. That's why. So the first one hit anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Roll damage.
And that's just with the... Oh, I see,
Yeah, unfortunately, the rule set, some of it's double clicks, some of it's... You've damaged yourself there, Monin.
There's a few teething problems here.
I thought I had targeted.
You're targeting both yourself and the small goblin. So an easy way to do this, if you're only attacking one creature, you can literally just drag the... I'll apply that damage to the goblin. It was goblin 4. You can literally just drag the...
That's goblin 1.
Goblin 1. So goblin 4 is back on his feet. It's goblin 1 that Monin helped me with.
Yep.
And he's also quite neatly stepped in front of me as well, which is cool. I like that.
Okay. It goes down. There's actually the leg that was severed, it was favouring. It was like hopping up and down on it. Didn't notice your blow coming straight in, and you take its arm off at the shoulder and it just collapses in a big heap in front of you. So sorry, I was just saying an easy way I normally attack if you're only attacking one thing is literally just drag your attack dice and drop it on the creature either in the combat tracker or on the map. And similarly with damage, you don't need to do any targeting and just drag and drop, which is pretty straightforward.
So that goblin's gone down.
Yeah, goblin's gone down.
And that's from the actions tab where it says weapons?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, cool.
So he's dead.
Goblin 1 disappears from the battlefield. Goblin 2, with a shriek goes and comes screaming towards you, roaring in a very high-pitched, creepy way, his bent sword, and attacks Monin. and it clanks off your shield completely. Goblin 3 runs up, comes round the other side to attack Monin as well. They're all round him.
Come on, you wee bastards!
But this one scores a hit on him. Gets through you, chink in your armor, but doesn't do a lot of damage to you. You're feeling okay after that one. And he runs back afterwards and just disengages and runs straight back to...
Can he disengage? Because that's an action, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a special ability to... He backed off, just ducked under a wild swing from Monin and chuckled and like with a high-pitched laugh and back off.
Oh, you little bastard, you.
Goblin 4 runs up and swings at not Amalfrida, or no longer unconscious, right? And that misses as well. And he also backs away.
Oh, you little bastard.
To the edge of the forest. Brother Hathers is up.
What do I notice of these 3 dwarves that we happened upon? Are they in clothing or are they in armour? Have
definitely
weapons?
In clothing. And as you're saying that,
they're backing up fast.
You seem to have stepped forwards, or they've stopped. Oh, they've stepped.
Okay, I'll say, get yourself safe. And then I will very trepidatiously, but wanting to prove himself a bit, he'll move up next to Monin and rather nervily try and hit the goblin to the south. And I'll try and whack it with my staff, yeah?
Yep.
So if I drop it on its pitch, small goblin top.
That's a hit.
Take that, you...
Whoa! Look at Brother Hathers go!
Okay, you are in your keeper. You're...
Holy crap!
I'll do a little bit of a sort of kung fu twirl with my staff and then, come on! Come along, you lot.
You can hear a dog whimpering from maybe 100 yards up the path now. You did roll a 1 for your dog. Sigmar, you're up.
Trying to shoot Goblin 4 again.
So Goblin 4, you're firing through a couple of friendly creatures there. So in order to try and avoid them, that'll be at -2 unless you can get an angle where they're not in the way.
Okay, then I'll move to here. Fire at Goblin other.
Okay. That's Goblin 3. Clear shot.
Yes.
Nice.
That's a hit. 5.
Or 5.
So drag one of those to Goblin 3 in the combat tracker, and it'll apply the damage.
Cool.
Nice shot. Okay, so that skewered him in the guts, and the goblin squawks in real pain, doubled up around the shaft of the arrow, and it's back to Amalfrida.
Right, you little bastard.
Oh, she's getting a nerve up now.
She's got just really angry now. That's a hit.
Yeah, let me just drag that over because that should. There we go.
Yep.
And then that one.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, that hurt.
Ah, nicely done. I think we've got them on the run now.
Monin. Yep. You back up for action. Okay.
Well,
Goblin's looking scared shitless now.
Okay, control click.
That's it.
Yep.
Good. Yes.
Solid hit. Oh. Foes dispatched.
Nice.
Okay, after what could have been a horrific start for Amalfrida, you pulled that one back nicely, operated well as a group. And the biggest surprise was that wizened middle-aged bloke with a staff completely brainwashed with a one no one was expecting. After about 2 or 3 minutes of whistling and calling, as the dog comes back,
Yes, good boy.
sniffing around the whole area a bit nervously, but actually, as he sees dead orcs around, actually ends up licking some blood off one of them and then like spitting it out. Doesn't like it very much, but
He's vegan, John. Come on.
Please okay after that, and I will take you out of initiative. So immediately these creatures, the dwarfs, come huddling around you and say, "Oh my goodness, thank you. I do not know what we would possibly have done if you hadn't been there. We're not fighters. Those things just jumped us." And they go straight up to Monin and look extremely enviously at his armor and weapons and sort of pat him gingerly on the shoulder and say, "Brother, that was well fought." And then look around at the others and said, and thanks to you as well.
Hathis is going to slump to the ground and look, he's going to be quite shaken. His first real combat, and probably the first time he's killed anything bigger than a spider, and a small one at that. So he's probably going to be a little bit shaken after the adrenaline worn off.
Everyone sits down kind of nervously around the log, and just you check out Amalfrida's wound. She's not that badly injured, and you see the three dwarves introduce themselves. Snorri, Borri, and the last one is
Florrie.
No, Har is his name.
Okay.
So Snorri says, "I'm the leader of this group here. He's a snowy-haired, wily old dwarf. He's about 4 feet tall, wears a dark grey cloak and has an eye patch over his left eye. Doesn't stop him making good use of his fairly well-heeled clothing. He's got the hint of a gold-hilted sword hanging from his baldric side, a leather pack containing some tools by the looks of things, and his good eye is bright like a pebble. He's clear, and he looks like he doesn't miss much. Borri's the youngest looking dwarf. He stands about 3'9", green hooded cloak, gold tassel on the hood. They're probably not quite as wealthy as Monin, but fairly wealthy. And your experience from Woodmen and from you living in Esgaroth is that the dwarves are a very, very wealthy race compared with anyone else you've ever met. And then the final one is the tallest of the three, Har. He's about 4'6", blue cloak over a dull grey set of mail. It actually looks as if they could have probably defended themselves, but fear got the better of them when they were ambushed. So, and they basically backed off to let you in there and help them. And they're very, very thankful. Har takes out doesn't say a lot. The others. Borri talks a lot. Snorri leads most of the conversation. He says, "Look, we were only camping and trying to collect some wood for the fire, only 100 yards or so away from here. So if you want to join us for some food as a mark of thank you," and he shivers a bit, "massive thank you. Come sit by the fire with us."
Well, hold on a second. You're 3 dwarves. And there are 4 goblins. And fair enough, they got the jump on you, but they're goblins. And then not only that, you run, and when we come running, you keep on running. What kind of dwarves are you? Why are you here? If you can run away, if you're running away from 4 dwarves and you're in Mirkwood, for God's sake.
He bows his head a bit and looks up and says, "I can't explain it, brother. I'm not something I'm proud of, but I do thank you."
Why are you here?
Amalfrida will just shrug.
They look like we're going the opposite direction from you. We were traveling south. Been a long route so far. We're going down to the river. We're actually going to do some fishing.
Fishing.
Where are they from? I'm half asking out from Monin. Are these your brothers from the Lonely Mountain, or?
I don't recognise their accents. I mean, we're from the Blue Mountains and come over.
Sorry.
Only recently. No, you're right, because we are Erebor now, because we moved across. But these are strange dwarfs. Boys, should you be tomb robbing or something like that?
No, I mean you would guess. Yeah, we're from Erebor. Doing a bit of travelling now. To be honest, just trying to keep ourselves out of trouble, and wanted to see a bit of the world. We'll be heading up back up north in a couple of months, maybe to go to Dale, but thought we were taking a safe route.
What's your clan and family line? So he'll try and work out if he's actually heard of this clan or whatever.
Yeah, give me a law check in the tower. I've just seen Hathor.
Yeah, I've seen that was good.
You have. So they are not a well-known house, and this is not all of them. Sorry, this is their leader, Snorri. You think Snorri had some responsibility for basically bellows repair in Erebor, and your family has run across his clan once or twice over the last 10, 15 years when you needed components or things fixing.
Oh, so it does check out. Okay, he's a bit more milder to them then.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that they
companions and nods like, well, they check out.
Yeah, they're probably telling the truth there. They seem to be okay with that.
Said we'll share a meal with you. Sure, we'll do that.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Come, and so they take you back to. And it's been a cold day. They were absolutely right. I mean, it looks like they've got a fire started, but it's not that well banked up. Scattered around the middle of the clearing, there is some fairly dry timber that they were taking, and it looks like they were carrying it when they got ambushed. And they gather it back up, invite you to sit down by the fire. It's in a fairly nice overhang. I wouldn't say cave, but there's a cliff overhang that they built it under. They know their business. Fairly dry down there on the ground. They've got a couple of tree stumps or old logs that they pulled up around the fire that aren't too damp, and it's actually quite homely. Some reflected heat coming off the ceiling cave, and it's a pretty nice place for them. As you sit down, Monin's eyes light up. One of them's got a small keg of beer. Keg of ale. He passes round. Probably only holds about 2 gallons, but best thing you've seen for the last 3 weeks on the road. So yeah, they were saying they're actually craftsmen. They were on a bit of a trek, as I said, to actually take in some fishing. Borri sits down and starts whittling with a sharp knife and a bit of wood, and you settle down. They've got a pig. Don't know where it came from. Like a fairly small. I wouldn't say a piglet, but it's not a mature sow that's already been dressed. It's on a stake, and they start grilling that by the fire, keep it fed. And say, so what are you fellas travelling for this time of year? Oh, begging your pardon, madam. And you, madam?
Well, we were thinking about following the elf path. Do you know anything about it? We want to head east, you see.
We've just come back that way. For literally 2 days ago, we passed down the elf path to get here.
And it were clear, were it?
Well, we didn't encounter anything down there. Sorry, I've got the Woodman accent. I need to put me Northern Irish accent. They were no problems at all. It'll sound Indian if I did that, so I'm not going to try it. No problems at all on the elf path. It was actually this is the only real danger we've encountered on our entire journey.
No, right. Okay, and you say you're going fishing.
Yeah,
pardon me for asking, but we've noticed, and she looks over at Monin, but, well, your kind ain't really made for water sports, are he? I can't really see you enjoying a bit of fishing.
Snarf spits beer out of his nose when you say that, and says, and then he looks up, and then he feels a bit nervous again and carries on carving. But Snorri kind of chuckles and looks over and said, "Very observant, madam. No, we're not. We've never fished before in our lives, but I do like fish, and we don't get a lot until there's traders up from Esgaroth, and they don't come to our part of the mountain too often, actually. So we don't get as much as we like, and thought we'd try our hand at it. Not sure how you do it. I've got some daggers. I thought we would try and stab them."
Oh, right. Well, I can probably give you some tips, but I'm just wondering why the fish in the Andu are tastier than the ones that are like, well, about half an hour from where you live, if you take my meaning. But no, it's up to you. I'm sure those fish in the Andu are bloody tasty.
Well, that's what we were looking to do.
Can I make an insight roll? I think they're lying.
Seems like the worst.
Give me an insight check in the town.
Oh, I knew you'd say that.
It was an accidental overall, but okay.
I put Monin in there as well, just because I'm watching as well, listening.
Yeah, give me an inside check.
No, I put it in the tower as well. That's not a double roll. It's probably one of mine. Is there not one from Amalfrida and one from...
Yeah, actually, Amalfrida, you're a bit sceptical, but Monin, the more they're saying it, you know Snorri, I think, or definitely know his father or brother or something. So you're definitely aware of his line. He seemed like a solid craftsman from your knowledge, and you'd see no reason to be lying.
All right.
You're fairly comfortable in that story, and you can tell by the way he jokes about dwarves and fishing that actually it's a kind of common joke that actually dwarves do not make fishermen, but quite a few try and prove the adage right normally, that they don't make good fishermen. So you think that they probably are going, they have no idea how to do it, but they've got this idyllic view that fishing is a nice relaxing pastime and you'll end up with loads of fish and be very full in the evening, but it's probably very...
Okay. So if Monin kind of just nods and goes, Amalfrida will frown a bit and carry on eating, drinking, etc.
Yeah.
She won't push the point or anything.
So as the evening wears on a bit, the tension that's at the start of your encounter kind of drops away a little bit. They're good company. Fire's nice and warm. The smell of pig roasting starts kind of wafting across to you. And you find out a little bit more about them. So they all have family in Erebor, and they're actually not going to be going that far south. They're not going to be going far south as the Carrick or anywhere on the Anduin. They really want to just see the Anduin, do a day or two's fishing and head home. So Snorri, you find out, he hopes to find his sons, for whom he was parted as they each sought work as smiths. He hasn't seen them for a long time. Borri longs to see the wonderful sights of Erebor since he hasn't been back there for a long time now, and they met with him. They hadn't been with the group prior to that, and he's not originally hasn't been back to Erebor for a long time. And he really just wants to settle down. He's been doing a lot more travel than the other two. Har, you discovers, and this is only after an hour or two of sitting down and sharing a pipe and a couple of ales, that it's a sad tale. He's hoping to return to Erebor, and he actually left because he'd lost his wife of many years since the dragon came. You don't really find out a lot more, but whether lost meaning she died when Smaug came or something else, but he's the most melancholy of the three and doesn't do a lot of...
Monin likes him.
man of my taste. So yeah, Borri passes as Har's tale come out. Borri passes around some more wooden cups and pours some more ale and right, toast of victory today, lads. And there's another toast as well to Borri this time from Snorri saying, "Well done for catching this delicious pig we're all about to eat. Anyone want to play a riddle?"
Oh, we love a good riddle.
Snorri says. So Har says, "Yeah, I do. That'd be lovely." And he settles down. And so, you know what? I'll start first, Snorri. Right. What is this? Feed me and I live. Give me drink and I die. What am I?
Fire.
Oh, wait a minute. I know. Oh, we knew that one.
Fire.
Bloody wait until I've had a go.
I'll go back to my book of Advanced Riddles Level 7. I'll go back to my book of Sudoku. Sorry.
Bloody smart ass. That's the only one I knew.
All right, I'll go for a much trickier one then. Borri, you have a crack. Borri says, All right. I think I've got a good one. There are two guardians at two doors. One guardian always tells the truth. The other guardian always tells a lie. One of the doors leads to a great heap of magical treasure.
Oh, I'd like that.
The other door leads to certain death. Only one door can be opened, and only one question may be asked. What is the one question that must be asked to either guardian to be sure to know which is the correct door to go through to avoid death and find that great hoard of magical treasure? And then what must be done?
Oh, that's bloody hard, that is.
Paste that so you can read it.
Oh, wait, one question.
I think
Amalfrida isn't very clever.
I think I know that one, Amalfrida. I think you say to them, which one of you wants to live? Which one
no,
wants to live? Then which one opens the door is the one that lives, and the ones that don't are the ones that you'd smash. I'm not very good at riddles. I have to be honest.
Even Hathis is looking a bit stumped at this one.
Yes.
Right, I think I know the answer, but Amalfrida would. She's a simple soul.
Yeah, and Monin's got into 10, so he's not particularly punching very high either.
Can we make a? Can I make a riddle roll to? Not to know the answer, but. Oh Christ!
If you got low wisdom,
that's intelligence. I mean, thick as pig shit, if not thicker.
Yeah, you think the answer is ask one which door to open and then go through the door he suggests.
That's right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We don't know.
Ask either of them if they're a tree frog.
What? Tree frog?
Yeah.
Will that work?
Well, if he says no, then he's telling the truth. If he says yes, then he's a liar.
But we don't know which door.
One question. There's 4 people, 4 guardians, 2 doors, 1 question to 1 person.
2 guardians, 2 doors.
Is there 2 guardians at each door?
No, 1 guardian at each door.
Oh, that makes it easier, right? Okay. Well, I say easier.
You were doing some complex analysis.
I know I've heard this class of problem before, and it's to do with double negatives and all the rest of it, but I can't quite remember this one. It was so bloody long since we did this one.
Borri's looking eagerly around his colleagues who obviously know the answer, and he's like almost hopping up and down.
No, wait a minute. Hathis is bloody clever. He'll get it in a minute. He just needs time. You have to admit, I'm bloody stumped.
This, I have to admit, so the riddles were so crap in the Middle Earth scenario thing that I decided someone's put some great riddles together, and I turned it into a table, and they are a lot more challenging.
Yeah, I think that one's kind of a classic. I think
it is. So most of them are. They've just made them.
There's no way Amalfrida wouldn't have.
No, it's pretty tough.
I think it was used ages ago in the Doctor. That's another geeky thing I've just revealed.
So this is a permutation problem. So there's only 2 questions are relevant. So which is a safe door, for example, and then you've only got 2 people to ask it to, and the 2 results after that is you either take their advice or you don't.
Yeah.
And open one or the other door. So just work out, is there any route that's guaranteed to get you safety?
Yeah.
Don't you say to one of them, which door would the other one tell me to open?
That's right. That's the one.
That's
the answer.
So that, and then which door do you choose after that?
The truthful person will tell you the liar would tell you the wrong door, and the liar would. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, bloody hell!
So he always tells the truth, and the other always.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you pick the true person, then the true. Yeah.
So the truthful person would tell you the right door. So the liar would say that the person would give you the wrong door.
But remember, you're asking
about the other one,
the guardian, what his friend would say.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. It was like you said.
So the truthful person will tell you that the liar would give you the wrong door as well.
The truth will tell you that the liar will tell you to go through the wrong door. And if you ask the liar will tell a lie and tell you that the person who tells the truth will send you through the wrong door. So
whatever they say, you do the other door.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. Well worked out. That was the answer. Borri looks like crestfallen as Hathis and Sigmar piped up, were kind of working this out, drawing things in the dirt, and he was convinced you were going to all get it wrong, but you got it correct. So well done.
Nothing.
I won't do too many riddles, but that was fun. There was also dwarves. Actually, Har Har strikes up a tune as one part of the evening. Quite a mournful dwarvish voice, which is quite nice and he enjoys. And he sung about Durin's folk living neath Erebor, and about the riches there. And Monin gets a little homesick. He's absolutely has heard this song before. It's a fairly well-known dwarven tune.
Well, Monin will try and join in with his horn, which he's already learning.
Give me a horn roll.
That's better.
It's
terrible though.
It's only every other note's off key a little bit now, but that's definitely an improvement over the battle charge. But you all genuinely seem to be really enjoying yourself from that. And as you're sitting there, and Borri goes over and starts tending to the pig, and he says, "Bull, I think it's about ready now. You've had a couple of ales each. You're feeling pretty nice, and you're suddenly kind of taken back away from the scene. You, Monin, are taken to dwarven halls and sitting around communal tables, ripping meat apart from the table and stuffing it into your face, and you all got happy memories of this. It's bringing back very positive memories. And the pig it doesn't look like a wild boar. It looks like just a pink pig, as if it's bred. And do you want to ask him any questions or anything while you're having dinner?
Where did you catch the pig? It's just delicious.
Caught it in a snare.
A snare? Can Amalfrida make a survival roll?
Give me either a best of investigation.
Oh, come on!
Investigation or insight.
Oh, you bugger!
Can I do this as well, John?
Yeah, you're listening. Anyone who's
that's my question. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'd make an insight. Investigation or insight. I'll do it with insight because I'm a bit suspicious about that. But...
So Amalfrida, no concerns there. You think he's lying,
right? Okay.
You're pretty sure he didn't catch pig in a snare, mainly because you don't snare domesticated animals bred for food. If it was a wild boar, maybe.
A pig. Yeah.
Monin's going to ask about the statue, the fallen face of the Manish king, so they know anything of the history of this place.
It's a good idea.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
We didn't spot that. Where was that?
Just at the beginning of the road, just about 300, 400 yards down there.
Well, I'll be jiggered. I had no idea that was there. I know we did see a couple of some fallen stones that looked like old walls, but not a whole head lying in there, a big statue. You were quite fortunate to see it, to be honest. It was pretty well overgrown. And before you guys go to bed, I just wondered if anyone would like a game of smoke rings.
How do we play smoke rings?
You basically nominate it's first to 10 points. It's a game of skill, which is based on your smoking capabilities. You can make a choice. You can use your...
That Tolkien was a weird chap, wasn't he?
Yeah, they was proficient with... So if you want to go and try and blow a smoke ring in the shape of a dragon, you can do. Actually, I may ditch these game of smoke rings because it is a bit too simple.
No, I don't know. No, I think it's within...
It's within... They probably would do it. We'll just keep it fairly brief. So you can basically choose a smoke ring that gradually increase in point value. First to 10 points wins the game.
Right. Amalfrida doesn't smoke, unfortunately, so it's got one of the...
She's not interested. So it goes from DC 12 for a series of tiny smoke rings up to the dragon, which is DC 18, worth 8. And everything in between.
Go for the shrinker. I love the shrinker.
The shrinker is a 4-point skill check. So if Hathis has got as pipe smoking supplies, you can...
He's got his gear, yeah.
Oh, he's settling down to business.
Hathis says, I once turned semi-professional, you know.
I obviously haven't done this for years, not since the last international, but...
Right. At which point Sigmar says, wait a minute, I'm a black belt.
Yeah.
So it's a wisdom modified roll. Add your wisdom mod or your dexterity mod if you're just naturally gifted with a nimble tongue to blow smoke rings. Pick whichever one you want, and then you can make a check. If you fail, you don't get any points. So, but it's a. Do you want to go for the quick victory with a single point fluke roll, or try and accumulate points over a couple of rounds?
And it's just a straight wisdom D20 roll, yeah? Wisdom save.
Wisdom modified DC. If you've got pipe smoking supplies, you can add proficiency to that as well.
What's the proficiency in?
Which is +2 for you.
Okay.
+2 at your level, so yeah.
Oh, my proficiency bonus. So it'll be wisdom check +2.
Yeah.
And what's DC? I clicked off the...
let me share that again with you.
This is where you need a bard in the party.
There you go. Series of tiny rings is DC 12. Small but perfectly formed spinning ring, DC 13. Medium-sized ring through which flies a small ring, DC 14. The grower and the shrinker, the giant's ring. No idea what that is. I'm not delving into that one. Or the dragon.
I'll warm up with the shrinker and just see how it...
Okay, going in at the business end.
So it's +2, yeah, not +23. Can't type. +2 on a wisdom roll, yeah?
Yeah, do it in the open.
It's exciting.
Hot one.
Get in.
So let me see the description of your shrinker.
So it starts as a perfectly formed, beautiful circle about 6 inches across, and it just slowly shrinks and it lowers down at the same time, almost like describing an invisible funnel, until it comes down to a tiny pea-size sort of smoke, and then it just goes poof and disappears.
Nice.
All the boys the dwarves nod pretty well at you, and you can hear them mumbling a bit. Monin can hear them mumbling in Dwarvish. Not bad for a human. I've seen. Actually, look at the old nicotine stains in his beard.
He's been smoking for years.
And then Snorri steps up to the plate, and he says, "There's a bit of conferring." He said, "Right, mainly for the amusing. Let's go for the giant ring."
Oh, you bastard!
And he takes a big suck on his pipe. And then he inhales rather than exhales at the moment of ring release.
As he blows smoke out of his ass.
Smoke pours out of his nostrils and he coughs and splutters. And he balls that one up. So round one's here.
You're not singing anymore. You're not singing it.
And then, so Hathis, what are you choosing for round? It's 4-0 ahead at the moment.
I got 4 points, haven't I? I'll go for medium-sized ring through which she flies us to consolidate my win.
Okay.
I mean,
good luck.
I don't want to humiliate the man on his home turf. That would be rude, wouldn't it? So 12.
Oh, I thought that was a 2.
I thought that was a 2. It's a 12.
No, there you go. So that is the same size, smaller than before. Beautiful. Again, another perfect circle, just slowly rotating, goes through it, John.
They're nodding and okay, Snorri takes a couple of deep breaths, grasps his wooden mug of ale.
Got to go for the dragon.
He downs his ale and he puffs out his cheeks, and you see him drawing deeply into his pipe. It's glowing red in the firelight. He's sucking in loads and loads.
Not too much.
He says, "Dragon."
Nobody can handle that power.
And he explodes. Sorry, I'll just show you what he rolled.
He bites the end of the pipe.
So Borri says something Monin recognises, which is, remember the last time you tried that, Mason? Just as he, on the last inhale, completely internalised the whole lot. Literally, he sparks embers out of his nose by the end of that one, and feels absolutely horrible. He's like coughing and spluttering. He falls off his log, lies on the dirt, and he's like coughing his lungs up for 15, 20 seconds after that.
No offence, don't take this wrong, but you're fucking crap.
Monin's just chuckling.
He sits up and he's literally wiping tears from his eyes. Like it's bloodshot a bit. he's wheezing, and you can tell he's probably bust a little bit of his lung with that one. And he looks over to Hath and says, your turn.
Are you sure you want to continue? You may need medical attention, my boy. I'll go for the grower just for variety, I guess. So it's +2. I can't imagine I'll get another good roll in a row, but if I fail, I'll try and look like I'm nice to him. Only a 12. The grower doesn't quite grow. It's a station. I'll put my hand through it. I'll put my hand through it.
Just broke up.
Substandard. Yeah, substandard. Yeah.
So Snorri stands up again. He rinses his mouth out with some water, spits it into the fire, and then downs another half a cup of beer and says, right, bit of conferring with Borri. And Har's pissing himself laughing. And by the way, Har is starting to open up to you, Monin, a little bit about his background. He was a smith.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. We'll chat about
Snorri was the best one. Have a talk to him in the morning. And then he says, right, I believe I'll fuck it up again. And he says, right, dragon again. Only chance I've got.
Fucked or famous.
Oh! Pulls it out the bag.
Oh, the little...
He sucks deep on his pipe. And he blows this amazing smoke ring. Elongates out the side. And then as it's breaking up, it dives down, it appears to, like a dragon swooping, and then it dissipates in the fire. And even he is amazed. Borri is just like...
Yeah, I will applaud.
Yeah, Monin's cheering.
I will magnanimously applaud that and say that is one of the best dragons I've seen for a little while.
And he, getting in the swing, he he smacks his wooden cup against yours and says, good luck, your turn.
In which case, I'll try the dragon just because it's that stage of the competition, yeah?
That's the spirit.
You only need another 3 points for victory.
I know, but rather than just play percentage pipes, yeah? I've got to rise to the challenge. Yes!
Oh,
no. So, like a great renowned archer of English folk tales, your dragon is slightly bigger, slightly better at diving, and doesn't dissipate quite as early as his dragon. And in fact, it almost appears to only just start dissipating and rise up as it hits the far side.
Monin's loving it.
And just Monin leaps to his feet and just pats you on the back. He's like spray beer out of your nose as he thwacks you with his mailed fist a little bit. And everyone's absolutely delighted with the performance. Snorri looks up afterwards and says, well, my boy, never thought I'd see myself lose to a better dragon than the one I just pulled out my ass, but you did fine work there. So please have this. And he passes to you an ornately carved pipe. I've dropped it in the party sheet. And you see, it wasn't the one he was using, but it was the much nicer than the one he was using by the looks of it. And you look at it and go,
that looks nice.
Very nice.
Excellent. I shall treasure this. I remember this. I shall treasure this.
And you, sorry, just get. Wow, that was a high scoring game there. Congratulations. He says after that, well, gentlemen, lady, that was a very fun night in the end. Could have worked out a lot worse. He's licked some of the pork fat off his fingers and says, time for sleep then. Any of you want to, no, I'll call a halt today after this. But any of you guys want to rest as per normal or with a watch, or are you okay? They seem to be basically just getting their backs to the warm kind of cave side and wrapping themselves up in their cloaks and blankets and getting their heads down. But up to you. Are you going to have the lookout on guard for the night as well?
I think we should keep a guard.
Yeah, I don't think these guys bring any additional protection or anything like that. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Do a guard.
Okay.
And just to wrap up, Monin will be up to Brother Hathis. So I misjudged you. I'm sorry. I apologise. I didn't think you'd bring much to this, and you can handle yourself in a fight, in a riddle, and in a smoking game. So I'm very sorry. I misjudged you there, brother.
I appreciate that. I shall hold out my hand in a human gesture.
Yeah, he'll shake it and wink.
Yep.
Doesn't mean we're
Good
married
stuff.
though, and we'll stomp off.
That's something to do with rings, I think.
Okay, so you've had a nice evening smoking, eating some great pork, best food you've had on the journey, the whole trip so far, and drinking some ale, and the Dwarven company were fine. Monin, you exchanged some words with Har before you go to bed, but he basically says, yeah, Snorri's your man, and you know this probably from your time in Erebor as well, that he's probably got some insight into certain bits of smithing, probably based on exact temperature change and stuff like that. But he then maybe hawking better bellows to you as well, so keep an eye on him for that. But and with that, you hit the slap.